Okay. Tonight or tomorrow? Mm. Hello, good morning. Whoever is tuned in, we'll just get started in another minute or two, just getting acclimated to the space. Just trying to get a good angle. Hopefully everyone's having a good first few minutes of your day. If you have like a carpet where you are, then that's pretty good. We're going to start on our backs, so any soft surface, if you have like a yoga mat or carpet, should be good to start. And if you want to get some water, so I'll be right back, and then we'll get to the stretching. All right, cool. So if you're just popping in, good morning. If we haven't met, my name is Sean, and we're going to stretch for an hour. If we have met, my name is Sean, and we're going to stretch for an hour. So it's early morning, so we're going to start pretty light. Usually when I wake up in the morning, depending on how I've slept or what position I've slept in, like certain parts of my body they don't feel like really functioning. And for me, I do a lot of active work on my feet, dancing, martial arts, just general, moving around, walking around all day. So what I usually do is my feet are really sore from the day before. So one thing that I like to do to get started is just kind of give myself a little foot massage. Just take my thumbs and just kind of work around any uncomfortable areas, and just push as hard or as not hard as you like, but just kind of make your way around. If you have socks on, that might be a little bit nicer, because I don't know, for me, I'm not super uncomfortable with feet, but some people are with touching feet. But I'm just gonna work my way around the feet. Usually like under the foot, I'll feel a little bit of tenderness, so I might dig in a little deeper there. And go to the other side. But yeah, like I said, since it's early, some of you might be on your way to work or just, up early in general. Starting off without having to think too hard or move too much, but getting the body warm enough so that we feel like we can get something out of this stretch. Okay. And then once I've massaged it out, just kind of iron it out by pushing into the toes, flexing on the heel, basically just pressing different surfaces of your foot into the floor. You can spread your toes out, you can curl your toes up, whatever you want to do, but just getting the weight into your feet in a way that feels like they don't feel super tight anymore. Okay. So nothing too crazy, just to get started with the feet. And morning, Lee. Good to see you. Well, good to see your words. So after you're done warming up your feet, what you're going to do is just lie on your back. My hips and lower back also, like after basically staying still for 8 hours or however long you sleep, they can get a little tight. So starting off by lying on your back, and I'm just going to keep my hands at my side like this. And I'm going to take a few deep breaths in. And when I breathe out, it's going to feel like I'm trying to push my belly into the floor. Breathe in. And breathe out. So just feeling it all along your spine and your back. And one more time, breathe in. And breathe out. And a little extra thing I like to do is just take my chin and just give it a little tuck forward. Again, rounding the spine and the neck. And then just let it down. Okay, and now I'm just going to alternate. I'm going to bring one knee up towards my chest, my shoulder. I'm going to bring a little bit to the outside of my shoulder. And then just put it down, nice and easy. So I'm trying to pull back so I feel a little flex in my hip flexor. And then bring it down. I'm just going to alternate like that, nice and easy. To start. Not in any rush. And as I pull it back, I'm going to try to push my opposite knee a little forward. You might feel your hip come up a little bit off the ground. Get a little extra stretch out of it. Same thing with the other side. Pull this knee in. Other knee goes forward. It's like I'm trying to push into the floor with my foot. Down. I'm just going to alternate like that now. Get a little more motion out of the stretch. You can see again, like my hip comes up a little bit off the floor. A little bit. Pull it back. Little lift. If you want, you can take your hands, you can pull a little bit in. Other side. So it feels like I'm pulling with my hands and at the same time pushing into my other foot. Nice and easy. Okay, now I can get a little bit into the back of my leg. I'm going to pull my knee in. Again, you can use your hands or you can keep your hands down. And then just a little extension. You might not get all the way straight, but just even a little bit, you might feel it. And then return, bend this up, a little straighten, almost like I'm trying to kick up towards the ceiling. I would say the more your foot is this way, the easier it is to stretch it out. The more you try to bring it back, the more you're going to feel a little discomfort in your hamstring, depending on how tight it is. So just go as you go. If you want to get a little bit more out of this, you can try to flex your toes towards your face as you straighten your leg and feel like you're trying to push your heel up towards the ceiling or extend your leg up so that your heel goes up in that direction. Okay, try a couple more. And again, if you want, you can use your arms. You can actually pull your leg a little bit more, or you can use your ankle. Again, don't go past what you feel is good. And then just relax, just kind of lie down flat for a second. Just take a couple breaths in. Again, trying to find your belly. Breathe in, and then when you breathe out, try to press your lower back into the floor. Breathing in and out. Okay. Now I'm going to keep my legs flat. One leg is going to bend up, same way that it just did, but the other leg is going to try to stay flat. And I'm just going to try to pull up towards my shoulder. Don't overdo it. Just again, it's early. Just kind of check in with your body. This is stuff you can even do in your bed. Before you go to bed or when you wake up in the morning, just you can lay flat and use your hips to get a little stretch before you even get out of bed. I'll put this down and go to the other side. Pull it up. And you're going to feel the stretch in the top of your the hip flexor of the straight leg. So I'm trying to keep this leg as flat as I can on the ground. Other leg pulls up. Warming up all those muscles around the hip area and the glutes. Okay, take it up again. If you want, you can use your hand to bring the leg a little bit across. I try to keep the opposite shoulder on the ground. So it feels like my upper body's twisting away from where I'm bringing my knee. And I can also take that same knee, I can bring it a little bit to the outside towards this hand. Bring it back up, pull it in one more time, and relax it down. We'll try the other side, we'll bring it up straight. And bring it across. I'll use the opposite hand to just stay on the floor behind me. This knee pulls down. You can get a little stretch in your neck too if you look towards your opposite hand. Again, your upper body's twisting away. Comes up. Open my knee to the outside. Feel a little Rice Krispie action in the hip, snap, crackle, pop. Knee comes up, pull it in one more time. And relax the legs down. And from here, just bend both knees up so both your feet are planted. I like to have my feet about shoulder width. I'll show you from this angle. Okay, like this. And my knees are right over my toes, so they're not coming in. They're not going out. They're right over my toes. And I'll rest my neck. Now I'm going to push my belly button and my hips up towards the ceiling. It feels like I have weight in my shoulders and my neck, but it feels kind of nice. I'm trying to flatten my neck into the floor, kind of like when we were flattening our belly into the floor earlier. And then I relax it down. Again, push up. The goal of this for me, it's almost like I'm trying to make my neck feel longer. So I'm pressing my neck into the floor as my belly goes up, lower down. Try 3 more like that. And up. Just a basic hip raise. And down. 2 more times. Up. And down. And as far as my foot position, I'm just keeping my ankles right under my knees. I don't have them too far away from me, but you could always modify this to see what works for you. I like to keep my ankles right under my knees so I have a lot of leverage when I push up. Okay. And you can kind of mark it by everyone's arms are different lengths, but generally I should be able to touch my ankles if they're in the same position that I was just referring to, like that. All right, cool. Now, nice and easy. This one's nice. It's going to roll down to one side, and just whatever arm's on the bottom, just kind of put it in a position that you're not lying on it. So I like to push my arm a little away from me, so my shoulder is a little bit out in front, and I'm just going to tuck my knees in like this. Okay, like if I was to roll into a ball. And this arm, once you have your shoulder up from underneath you, you can actually do whatever you want with it. So you can put it in a position that it's out of the way. Okay. Then I'm going to go to the other side. I'm just going to roll so my back's to you. Again, I'm going to try to get my shoulder out from underneath me and then just tuck my knees in. Like fetal position. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to look up towards the ceiling again. And now think, I'll do it facing you so it's easy to see. I'm going to do that same type of stretch where I go to the side and I'm going to pull my knees in. And then I'm going to go to the other side by opening one knee first and just trying to feel like I'm trying to split my knees in the middle. Then I bring my other knee over and then I just roll my knees in. And then I come back, open my arms, open my knees, open my hips in the middle. And other side, roll in. It's like I'm trying to really tuck into a cannonball. Coming back. First side. While you're squeezing in here, you can feel like you're trying to push weight into your lower back. So it feels like you're really turning into a ball. And open up again. I feel like I'm moving towards the camera. I tuck in and I feel like I'm trying to round my lower back. And I'm going to relax and just sit up. And just from here, take your feet. You can open up your legs a little bit and just think like your toes are going to go in and out. Might not feel like you have too much mobility yet, but after a few of these, it feels like you can rotate from your hips a little bit more. For me, the first couple are the most uncomfortable, and then it starts to feel a little bit looser in my hip area. Okay. And another variation of this, you can take one leg, pick it up, and same idea, just rotate in and out. Like I'm waving hello and goodbye with my foot. In and out. Then I try the other side. I feel like I'm just putting my weight back into my hands here. Okay. As I rotate my whole leg from my hip. Ooh, that feels interesting. And relax it down. And if you want to lean forward a little bit, if you feel warm enough, you can get a little breather there. Okay. And I'm just going to take a little water break. Check in. So, again, like early morning, sometimes I approach it from the opposite direction. I'll start by standing up and start by moving around a little bit more, but I'm feeling a little lazy today, so I like to stay on my back. And like I said, a lot of that stuff you can just do in your bed if you really feel like super, super lazy. It's not necessarily a bad thing. You know, if you're doing something to warm up your body, it's not going to hurt. All right. But if you have more space, then you can get a little bit more out of it. Okay, so now let's see if I have space for this. So what you're going to do, we're going to come back onto our back. Okay, and just play this one by ear. Okay, we're going to move a little bit now. So I'm going to use my hands to brace myself on the floor. Oh, let me just see something really quick so I comment. Yes, Wendy, you get the extra the cat benefit, extra challenge. I like that. Yeah, anything where you're moving your hips, like we did this earlier. If you have like some extra weight, or even like if you have like free weights, something like this, you could always hold it above you for an extra benefit, extra challenge, but up to you. So anyways, rolling, we're going to roll onto our shoulders. So my hands are going to brace down next to me, and I'm going to pick up my knees, and I'm going to try to use some momentum to pick up my hips above my head, and then it comes down. So everyone's built a little bit differently. So just if you need to, you can start up a little bit and then you can roll back to pick up your hips and then up like this. This is actually probably a nicer way to do it. So if you start up here, just be careful when you roll back. Try to feel like your back is round. So it feels like you're trying to push your belly backwards. So that way when you roll, kind of feels like your, like your muscles stay rounded and you don't roll on your bones, okay? So I'm gonna keep my hands here and I'm gonna roll my body backwards. Hips come up. Basically just go as far as you can without falling backwards. Just try it 5 times. Coming back. Feels like my weight's in my shoulders and up. Back and up. And when I come forward, I'm just going to hug my knees like this. Easier said than done, actually, to really hug forward. Feels a little tight, especially on my right side. One more time. And back. So again, usually the first one of those feels a little bit tricky and then your body starts to get into a rhythm with it. So now you can try a variation of that. When you roll backwards, you can try to pick your hips up. And if you feel like you can balance here, you can try to straighten your legs and then just come back the same way. Okay. Otherwise, just try to hold. If you can't straighten your legs, you can try to hold back. Hold this position and extend. My couch is in the way, so if I was feeling warm enough, I might be able to go down to the floor. So I'm actually going to try to reverse like this so I can do it towards you. So now I have space. I'm going to roll back. My hips come up, and I try to extend my legs. I might be able to touch the floor with my toes, and then I come back. Just try that a few more times. You probably really feel some tightness in your back and your hamstrings, so just take it easy. Try 2 more. And 1 more. All right. And then just relax for a second. And if you sit up, you can cross your legs. I like to cross one leg in front of the other. Sometimes when I go on top, it's just a little uncomfortable for me, but I'll go one in front of the other. And I'm just going to try to naturally lower my body. It might not go very far, but just try to relax your upper body over your legs and feel a little sensation in your hips. So the more I go forward, the more I feel a little discomfort here. Again, in the hip flexors. A lot of stuff I do is predicated on the hips because I use them so much. I'm also trying to let gravity help me just set my knees down. My knees might feel a little bit like this to start. When I go forward, gravity can help me naturally bring them down towards the floor. So don't worry if they don't get all the way down there. Just try to sit into it. And you can adjust the angle of your body. You can go to one side. When I go this way, I feel a little bit more in this leg. Okay. I can even use my hand to push down a little bit. Ooh, Rice Krispies. I can go this way. Again, when I go this way, it feels like this leg wants to come up a little bit, so I'm going to try to keep it down. If your leg stays naturally down, great. If not, you can use Again, you can use your arm, push in a little bit. And then I'm just going to try to keep my body low and sweep it across the front. Walk to the other side, and then bring it back. If you feel any discomfort in your knees for whatever reason, just, don't push it. But if it's something you can work through, maybe it's just positioning, try to get a stretch out of it. Oh, yeah. All right. Okay, so now just bring your legs out in front. Maybe shake out the knees a little bit. Open the legs, just in and out again. Maybe this feels a little bit easier than it did the first time. It does for me. Ugh. Okay. Now we're going to try, we rolled backwards. Now we're going to take the momentum from going backwards and we're going to try to make a forward stretch. So from the side again. This is going to be my new starting position. I'm going to start back here. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll towards you just because I have the space there. I'm going to roll until my legs become straight, and I'm going to try to bend my body a little bit forward towards my toes. So I start by going up here to start. And then it's like bowling. You go bowling, your legs come forward, and the momentum pulls your body towards your toes. Okay, I'm going to start back a little bit. So let's try that a few times. Start by going hips up, and then roll forward, and reach for your feet, and go down. Take your time, going back, forwards, and just trying to lengthen your back. When I do this, I feel like I'm trying to bring my chin forward. And if you have enough space, you can actually start with your legs far back, just like when we did that stretch earlier. Okay. And then I can really use my momentum to pull myself up a little faster. Okay. So it can double as like an ab exercise. I don't think I have any space in this room where I can really go full in either direction. Maybe this way. Maybe this way. So if I start with my legs back here, I can create more momentum when I bring them forward. And then maybe that helps me pull my body down. But that can be something for another time. Just showing you how you can enhance the stretch. Okay. As far as hamstring stretches like this go, my approach, a lot of times people think down first, so they do something like this. And you can actually get some mobility in your back like that if you, like, again, anytime you brace into your belly and feel like your spine's rounding, you're doing some work to like warm up that area of your body. But if you want to stretch your lower back, you want to try to reach up from your hips and think, like if I use my hands, for example, trying to push my chin out. So you can see my back stays straight. And this helps me get a bigger stretch under my legs and my hamstrings because they're attached to my lower back. Okay. So if you're looking to get a big stretch here, try to keep your body straight and think about pushing your chin and even like your chest forward, right? Feels like you're trying to look into the distance. Okay. So your posture will affect how your body stretches. Okay. Now, with that idea in mind, okay, I can use my hands. Like a lot of people think like if they can't touch their toes, then they can't do this stretch. This is just to kind of show you how far you can reach. But if you use your hands on the ground, you actually have a lot of leverage to push your body in different directions. So it's helpful. right? If you don't need your hands, that's great, but you can use your hands to help. So now I'm going to push from my hands. My body's going to come forward. I'll show you from the side first because it's just easier to see. I come forward a little bit, and I'm going to try to take my opposite arm and reach across from my foot. And I want to try to feel a stretch in the outside area of my obliques and my shoulder. The more I stretch, the more I reach, the bigger that stretching feeling is. And then I can go to the other side. I reach across here. I'm trying to feel the stretch along here. So this part I'm trying to lengthen. So the more I twist, the more I lean forward. Ooh, I can make a big stretch. Okay. Something to keep in mind, as I reach forward, I try to feel like my hips are actually sitting back in the opposite direction. So that's what creates the stretching feeling. Okay. So you can go back and forth a couple times. Each time you go forward, maybe try to get a little lower. But you have the other hand there to help push and give you leverage to reach. You can do other things like you can look up and behind you to enhance the stretch. Other side, I reach across. One more time, first side. And then one more time, second side. And relax it. Okay. And I saw a little comment come up. That's cool, Lauren. Yeah, that's the nice thing about the virtual world. You can always rewind. And I'm just going to take a second to drink some water if you want to take a second too. Anyone that types in the chat, depending on where you start, you might hear me say hello to you later in the video. That's where I saw you log in. Okay, now, if you stand on your knees, okay, feels like you're nice and tall, and just gently, first off, kneeling position, however you want your feet. Like some people like to keep their ankles straight. You can actually get a little stretch in your ankles like this. I'll do that in a second. Or you can come up onto your toes, okay, whatever works for you. And you're just gonna let your arms flap side to side and just almost hit your body. And it's a little bit tricky to do in this position, but just try to rotate your body as much as you can. You don't have a ton of mobility here, but just to kind of give you a sense of this movement. Okay. Now I'm going to sit down. Okay. And same idea. Okay. When I sit down, depending on your ankle flexibility, some people can sit here for a really long time if their ankles are a little bit stretchy. If your ankles are a little bit stiff, it might be hard to sit in this position for a while. Like your feet might start to feel a little uncomfortable. Okay, so you can also sit on the balls of your feet like this. Same idea, sometimes people's toes get tired. So if you sit in either position for a long time, your body will eventually get used to it, but it goes through a little bit of discomfort. So let's do that. Just alternate between sitting on your ankles, maybe for about 10 seconds or so. And then we'll go onto the balls, okay, like this. Stretches the toes a little bit, kind of like in the beginning when we were stretching our feet. Then go onto my feet. If it's hard to move, you can use your hands on the floor to help you. Okay, if it gets really, really unbearable, you can always lean forward a little bit, but the straighter your back is, the more weight you put into this part of your foot. Okay, again, I come back. Okay, one more time, straighten the ankles. And the less you need to lean forward, the more mobile your hips are. Okay? So if I need to lean forward each time, okay, it's not bad, but if I can just set down into my ankles, you get a little extra work around your midsection. Okay? So now try this. Okay, see how much, or not how much, how little you can move your body like this, and you're just going to try to alternate ball, ball, ankle, ankle. I don't know the best way to say that. So if I'm here, I'm going to try to keep my body upright. I'm just going to try to go up onto the balls of my feet and then back down onto my ankles. I'm going to try to keep my head straight. So just alternating here. Feels like you have to work a little bit with your legs. You can try both sides, or starting on one side versus the other. And one more time. And down. Okay. And once you get down here, okay, we're going to lean our body forward and just come down to all fours like this. Okay. I was going to say if you have an object, you can use it, but actually let's use the floor. So I'm here. I'm going to bring my hands a little forward of my shoulders, and I'm going to try to press my chin down towards my knees like this. Okay. I'm going to try not to sit back too far with my hips. Okay. Just trying to lower my chin. Okay. Then I come up again. So think that the further your arms go forward, if my chin goes down, I feel a little stretch on the top of my back and shoulders. Like this. Come back up. And back down. My hips will move a little bit, but I'm just trying to think about lowering my chest. Okay. You can make a little more space for yourself if you want. You can bring your arms really forward. And same idea. And back up. And chin down. Okay. Now, try to pick up your knees, and as your chin goes down, try to send your hips up and back as your chin goes down. Try to push into your hands equally. And then just come back forward. I'm not in any specific position right now. Like sometimes I'm in a very straight plank. I'm just here. Hands and feet. Okay. And again, pushing your hips up. Heels might come back towards the floor too. The more I push into my heels and straighten my legs, the more I feel a stretch in my calves and my hamstrings. Sorry, my shirt's dropping over my face. There we go. So if I push my heels back, I don't have to get my heels down, but if I can work in that direction, I feel an extra stretch. Okay, coming back. If you need to give your arms a break, just relax down, just shake it out. Wrists, after a long time, can get a little cranky too in that position, so just give them some love. You can rotate your wrists, you can pull back, push down like this. I really like this one. I don't know, recently every time I do it, it feels really good in my forearm. When I bring my fingers down and I pull back, and I feel like I'm trying to push the top part of my arm forward. Okay, I feel a big just, I don't know, release, stretch. Feels really nice. Okay, other side, same thing. I can pull back. When I pull back here, I feel under my arm. When I pull down like this, I feel top of my arm. Top of my arm goes forward. Okay. So if you're someone that likes to do a lot of push-ups or planks, just make sure your wrists feel strong enough to stay in that position. Okay. Now, sorry, they're taking out the trash outside, so if you hear a garbage truck, I can't turn the volume down on that. So now, try this from this position again. Okay, we're going to come up, and I'm going to send my hips back, and I'm going to try to almost look under my arm towards you. So I feel like I'm pushing a little bit more into the leg of the side that I'm looking under. So if I'm looking to under my right arm, my right leg's really going into the ground. I can bend my left leg a little bit if I want. And then I can try the other side. I can look to my left away from you, really push my left leg in. And I'll try one more time to the right. So you can isolate one side of your body like this. I'm really pushing with my right hand and my right foot. And then left side. And relax it. Okay. Next time I'm not going to wear as baggy a shirt. Okay. From here, just kneel your hips back, sitting on the floor, and just let your body naturally relax down. Take a few deep breaths. When you breathe in, really try to fill your lungs up. And then breathe out. Let it out. And then relax up. Good. Grab a sip of water. If you can stand up pretty easily, that's a good sign. If not, then it's all right. It just means your muscles and body have been working. All right. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can do on the ground, obviously, when you stretch. But after you stretch, it's also good to get up and move around. That's why like stretching in the early morning can be a really good habit, because odds are the next thing that you do is going to be you're either going to work or you're going to go do stuff around the house or go for a walk. I don't know, walk your dog, lots of things, play with your kids, chase them around. So after you stretch, it's a good idea to be a little bit active so that your body gets used to lengthening out. Because what happens when we sit down, all of a sudden everything compresses again, right? Like if I'm sitting on the floor, if I'm sitting in a chair, even like if I'm on my phone, everything kind of shrinks. So we're going to stand up now and just lengthen our body up here a bit. Okay. All right. So earlier we were on our back and we were lifting our knees up towards our shoulders. So let's stand up straight, hands on the hips, and you're just going to raise your knees one at a time, just like if you were marching. Up, down, up, down, up, down. I'm trying to feel as tall as possible. I'm trying not to bend forward with my back or bend on my knees. I'm trying to stay really straight up. Okay. Now, what I want you to try to do is you're going to pick up one knee you want to try to bring it to the middle of your body and take your opposite arm and elbow and bring it to the middle and try to touch your elbow to your knee. Okay, and then just let it down. It's going to be a little harder than it looks. So when you do it, you bring up your leg, you bring your arm over. It's like everything's trying to meet in the middle. Try not to lower your body because then it's easy. Try to keep your back straight and just move your elbow and knee towards each other. Okay, then you try the other side, elbow, knee. Try to move them towards the center. So you have to twist your upper body a little bit to get to the center. Relax it. So let's just try that side to side. We'll do maybe 5 times each side. So one arm, one leg. Try to meet in the middle. And try to really straighten your standing leg. Relax it down, other side. Try to meet in the middle. Down. If I wave like this, I might be waving at my wife. Because she's going to go to work. Okay, coming across. Down. You really feel your hip work. And also behind here, the muscles that we're stretching, we were reaching across our body earlier, you're going to feel that come into play. Across. And 2 more for myself. You might be going faster than me. So just let me catch up. And if you can hold this here for any amount of time, that helps you strengthen your body a little bit. Okay, if you just want to touch and put it down, that's good enough for you. That's fine. All right, and just shake it out. Relax. I tell a lot of the kids that I teach, like if your hands were wet, you're trying to dry them out, this can be a nice way to get blood into your hands, your fingers. So if you're cold this winter, do this really fast. Yeah, what's up, Caden? Oh, up in Toronto. Thanks for joining in, man. Okay, and from here, really easy. Just hands on the hips and just circle your hips around. Make a big circle. And other way. Okay. There's 2 ways you can, well, maybe multiple ways, but 2 main ways that I usually use to circle my hip joints. One way, I try to keep my head still. Let me tilt this up so you can actually see my head. Okay. I try to keep my head in one place and just isolate. So it's like I'm moving, like my head is like the center point. I'm trying to move my hips and body around it. Okay, so I have to brace my muscles a certain way to keep my head still. Okay. Or you can treat your whole upper body as one unit, and you can actually move your upper body in a way where it's counterbalanced to your hips. So you get a little bigger motion out of this. Feels like a bigger stretch. You can go the other way. So whatever feels good to you. Again, if you isolate, feels a little different. You have to work a little differently here. Okay. And then you could try to just move your hips by themselves. Whole body still. Then it feels more like a dance. Okay. And there's people that can do this better than I can, so if you want to move your hips like that, go to a belly dance class. A virtual belly dance class in 2020. All right. Okay. And from here, let's see. Okay, just making sure I didn't miss something. So you're going to take your legs. You're going to swing up in front of you now. So earlier we did this. Now you're going to try to take your legs just straight up and down. You don't need to go super high. Just, again, trying to keep your back up straight. And just swing your legs. Feel like you're bracing your glute muscles, your bottom, as you swing up. Okay, you don't actually have to hold here, but you want to feel like those muscles are working to help pick up your leg. It's like I'm trying to squeeze on my way up. Okay. All right, now you're going to try to swing out to the side. This is a little bit harder for people, but if you imagine that your toes are, I know the lighting's kind of weird. The toes are facing forward when I lift up straight like this. Now keep your toes forward, looking at the screen, but you're going to bring it up to the side. So if I mash my hand to my feet, it feels like this. I'm not making my toes go up to the side. Keeping my hips here and leg up to the side. Okay. Up and down. Okay. And if you can, try not to lean sideways. Try to keep your upper body straight up. Something that can help you is if you have something, like if you imagine this was a chair, okay, you can put a chair in front of you and just balance here. Try to keep your head right above the center of the chair as you swing up. So this helps work your, what is it, abductors, AB, abductors. Think of like an alien abduction. The alien's taking you away from the earth. So abduction, bringing your leg away from your center. That's how I remember it. My leg's getting abducted by aliens. Okay. Okay. So then you can think the opposite of that, adduction, pulling in. Okay. So when you raise your leg up, if you try to speed up the downward motion, you'll work your adductors inside your thighs. Okay. Abductors outside, adductors inside. Okay. So now try to raise up and make sure you don't hit your feet together because it might hurt. Just maybe stand a little bit shoulder width. You're going to bring it up to the side and try to pull it down fast. Side, pull. Side, pull. This is usually harder for people to speed up in this direction. Because most of the time, a lot of the movement practice, if you spend time with me, a lot of the movement practice we do involves either kicking away from your body or stepping. You're not really pulling in a lot. So where this comes into play with martial arts is when you kick, you don't want to just leave your leg out and drop. You want to get ready fast. So you have to pull your leg back when you do your kicks so that you can get set. Obviously, you want to take care of your joints so that you don't, hyperextend anything. But generally, if you can pull your leg back a little quicker, you're ready for the next movement. Same thing for dance. If you're stepping away, the more effectively you can pull in, the more you can stay on timing with the music. So just a little application. So this helps you prime your muscles if you're going to do like a side split, right? So if you want to ever test, like a lot of people think they, if they can't do a full split, they'll have a hard time. They won't even like attempt it. I'm just going to use that. I'm going to use my couch instead. So if you ever want to test your side muscles, you can, again, like stand straight and just bring your leg up to one side. And basically, if you can bring your leg out all the way straight, let me do something a little higher. I'll try this side. So I'm going to have a different flexibility than you. But if I can bring my leg up here and keep it straight, okay, whether it's here or even I can bring it up like this. I can bring my toes up. If you can do this on one side and on the other side, okay, and just keep your legs straight, then you have the flexibility to do a split. just where both legs come in is that the ligaments and tendons are, aligning themselves a little bit differently when you start to stretch both legs out at the same time. So your body has to get used to being in that position for them to relax, basically. So we did this last week. We ended up with just a straddle side split, thinking of bringing our legs out to the side. Let's try to sit down on the floor. So coming back to my mat, and we'll finish up with this. So, and starting here, don't worry about if you're at your max, just open the legs. And before we go as far as we can, bring it in a little bit. And one more time, we did this earlier, try to rotate in and out. This helps loosen up all the stuff that's running through your hips. Okay, if you can move from your hip, that means that area is more mobile. Okay, so when you go to stretch, you'll have more mobility with your body to sink down into it. So now we're going to try to open up a little wider. And for me, I've never been able to do a complete 180 split. I would say my best is maybe, I've never taken a protractor before, but maybe like 130, 140. But for me, it's good. For me, it's like, this feels like I'm getting something out of it. So whatever it is for you, best way to start if you're not used to this position. Usually it feels like your body is sinking backwards. Try to use your hands. I said this earlier, your hands go behind your hips, and just try to sit up as tall as you can. Okay. I forget what it feels like to not be able to move down, but I know there's some days where my muscles are just really cranky. But if you're at sort of that beginner level, just try to be as tall as you can. Feel like your weight is coming more forwards than it is falling backwards. Okay, so we're just going to sit here for a minute. Okay, again, if you feel like your weight's back here, use your hands to try to get either upright or even a little forward. Okay, so you got to work with your arms. Okay, and if you can sit tall without using your arms, you can try to bring them in front of you like this. Okay, or whatever you really want to do. But when I bring them forward, I think of my body's eventually going to go forward, so that helps me stay focused on that. Okay, and again, if you pick up your arms and your body moves backwards again, just bring your arms back. If you want to go half and half to give you your sense of, okay, I can use one arm and this one is getting forward, you can try that too. Okay, but both up, cool. Okay, then you're going to bring your arms behind. If you can find yourself going a little forward, we can go further from here. Otherwise, just keep focusing on being straight. And you're going to try to bring your hand in front of you. Okay. Again, if you feel like you fall back when you take both hands away, just keep one hand behind, one hand forward. And then see if you can bring your elbow closer to the ground. Okay, like this. If you can bring them both down, do that. If you need to use one arm, you can alternate. You can have one arm back and bring the other arm down. And just think like your body wants to follow your elbow. Again, not just looking down, okay, your whole body. Try to follow. Okay. And you'll feel your back sinking down the longer you sit. Gravity's helping you out. Okay. And then from here, if you can get both elbows down, you want to feel like you could relax here. This is, a nice position. You could read a book. You can even type on a laptop. You can watch TV. My TV's up here. And once you can relax, see if you can extend your elbows away and lower down more. Okay. But if it doesn't quite happen for you, don't worry about it. Okay, wherever you're at. And like we did with the pike stretch, you can reach across. You can try to reach for 1 foot. Try to keep your body low. You can try the other side. I like to go through the middle to just remind myself to stay low. Really reach. Again, this is where you're going to feel it. Okay. So when you go side to side, there's different angles you can stretch at, but if you're doing it the way that I'm doing, just try to keep your chest looking at the floor when you reach. Okay? Try not to come back here. And then other side. And then come back to the middle. Just try to get a little lower or even a little bit wider with your feet. I went from 130 to 131 degrees. Even just an inch is good. Or a millimeter. And relax it back. So when you want to escape from here, when you've been sitting in for a long time, bring your hands back and just gently pull your hips back and your legs will come in naturally. Might take a little while. And then just shake out your legs, get the blood flowing back in. Maybe bend your knees a little bit. Get your weight under you. And if you can stand up, that's good. All right. So I think that should do it. So again, when you're stretching in the morning, try to get up and move around afterwards. The nice thing about stretching early is you don't have to put too much stress on yourself to get anything done. Like the fact that you're just doing it is probably better than what most people usually do, like including myself. I usually get up and I'm either on my phone or doing not a lot of anything. So if you can start by stretching, it might give your body that little jolt it needs, like, oh man, I feel a little bit better, feel a bit looser to get up and do some stuff. So hopefully everyone enjoyed this. Hope you like this. I might try to do this regularly, but we'll see. We'll see if I can continuously wake up early enough. I also had a request for maybe an evening stretch at some point, so we'll see. It's a free class, but I know last time Lee was nice enough. You sent me a nice donation. Thank you so much. I left like a PayPal link or Venmo link in the video description. So if you care to, feel free to donate. For the time, but otherwise enjoy the stretch. I'll leave this up on my YouTube page so that you can always refer back to it, or YouTube channel. Is that the right way to say it? You can always refer back to it and try to keep doing some different things if we keep this going. So have a good rest of what day is it? Friday. Have a good weekend and we'll see you guys soon. Oh, do you want to see a hamster really quick? Anyone that's still tuned in, we got a little Honeycrisp. There she is. Hello. You should see her stretch. When she stretches, it's crazy. But thank you guys for tuning in. You got a little hamster bonus there. And we'll see you soon.